this is Carol Joes, and we are continuing the series about the cords and wires that is used for jewelry making. And this one is going to be using crimp tubes to create a bracelet. I'm going to use the 21 strand wire. I'm just going to take off about, I usually use about at least 10 inches, 10 to 12 inches of the bead wire, so that I can have room at the end to finish my bracelet, but try not to waste that much of the wire. So here I am. I just had to grab my flush cutters. I'm going to cut it off with my flush cutters. Put this on the end so that we don't lose it. And then this one had that end that was in there. I'm going to cut off that little bit of an end because it will make it really hard to string. For my bracelet, I am going to use a bead stopper at the end of my wire so that my bead design does not fall off. Let me see if I can keep that on camera. There we go. I am going to use a 6 by 5 millimeter black AB glass bead. We're going to add, I forgot to spill these out here, some 3 millimeter size beads in between the black, and then I am using a clear 6 millimeter faceted bicone. We're gonna go, since we're getting close when this is being filmed, going into the winter season, it just seemed like these two colors together just gave me like the icy winter feel. So that is what I'm going to do. So here is my pattern, just to let you see it. It is 3 of the faceted rondelles, a 3 millimeter silver, a 6 millimeter faceted bicone clear, this, and then we've got that spacer again. And then we're just going to repeat this pattern until we get to our length. When you are making a bracelet, you will need to, so if your wrist size, and that's the interior circumference of the bracelet, if it should be 7.5, you're going to want to have your bracelet around the 7 millimeter size, or 7 inch size, I'm sorry, 7 inch. The reason being is that your closure, we're using a toggle clasp closure, will take up about 1/2 inch of the design. Ooh, these are not faceted bicones like I thought. These are faceted twists. So that'll give us a little bit more dimension to this bracelet. But it was the color that I was going for. I wasn't like going, oh, I want a certain shape or anything. I wanted to have this black and the white together just to give it like that, I don't know how else to say it, but that icy, wintry, crisp feel. And we're just going to keep repeating our pattern. And I'm going to post this in real time, so it's not going to be cutting off or going fast at any spot. So if you want to, you can fast forward however it is on the device for you and the social media you're watching it on to fast forward. I'm going to need probably one more, I think. Now, if you guys were watching at the very beginning, I did not put a 3 millimeter spacer bead here at the beginning. I can add it to give it a little bit more length if I need it. Sometimes I will add them to the end. Ooh, we're only at, here, I've got a ruler here. Let's see if I can get this in there so you can see the whole length of it. I am trying to do it in a smaller frame, so that's why we're having a problem here. There we go. We are not quite even 7 inches. We're like 6.5. So I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger. I'm not making it for anybody. I'm just making it to design. So when I do sell items, If it went bigger or longer than I originally planned, it is okay because I am not creating to a specific length. Now, if I had a special request to do this and it had to be a certain length, what I probably would do would be to remove some of the faceted rondelles here on this end to get us into that length. So there we go. That is our bracelet. Now what we're going to do is we are going to take the 2mm sterling silver crimp tube. That is what we're using here. We are also going to use 1/2 of our closure. So it looks like this. You've got your crimp tube, the closure. You're going to come over the top of the closure and go back through the crimp tube like so, and push this up so that you have a dangle room. But let me bring that up closer. But you don't have a lot of play here. I'm going to make that even a little closer. There we go. It's still dangling, but I don't have a lot of loop in there. I am then going to take my crimp pliers and crimp this shut. A crimp plier is used to shut your crimps, and it has special holes in it so that you can get it to crimp shut. I'm trying to see if I can get that to show for you guys. You'll see there is one oval. Maybe it's better on this side. There we go. There's one oval here and one oval here. The oval in the back towards the handles is the first one. You're just going to line up your crimp tube in there. Get that lined up. See how it's lined up in there? And then just press down. And you can see there is a little U there. And that is perfect. Now I'm going to turn that U away from me, so it's off to the side that way. I am then going to take the front oval, cover up my crimp tube, and press it down. And then that closes it up into a very fine spot. Now we're going to take our beads and cover up that cord as much as we can. Sometimes you might have to cut off part of the cord. I got it all covered up. We're going to go to the other end where we're going to put the other crimp tube, which once again, it is a 2mm sterling silver crimp tube. The other end of our toggle closure, which is the bar side. Get that in there. Coming over the top of that and then going through the beads, through the crimp tube, and let's get into at least a couple of that beads if we can. There we go. You see how it's coming up through here? We're going to pull that tight. I'm going to get these beads out of my way. Lay this down on my mat. Using my fingers, I'm going to press that crimp tube down, grab a hold of this end with either my fingers or sometimes I have to use a plier, and get that shored together, and making sure that we have enough room that he dangles, but also that we don't have any spaces, and we don't. So now we can go in and close up that crimp tube in the back hole oval first, turning it sideways. Go sideways, dude. Okay, we'll go this way. He wants to twist. There we go. And then we got it again. We do have this little bit of wire. Open that up and then cut it off. One thing you want to make sure of while you're doing this is that your circle that you have for your toggle closure will accept the bar and a few of the beads, and it does. So everything will fit good. That is how you use crimp tubes to complete a bracelet. You can use it with necklaces too. With a toggle, you could use any type of closure that you want. I just happen to use toggles. I hope you found this informative and have a good day.